Okay, hello everyone and happy Friday. So for today I'm going to give you a short video lesson and then you have a rather lengthy assignment that goes along with it. So I'll get right to it. Today's day 2 of religion in Sumer, and as you learned yesterday on Thursday religion is the foundation of society in ancient Sumer. So really we have one thing to go over here, one vocab word, and it's priests. So these are the religious leaders in Sumer. They were pretty powerful, pretty important people. Priests are people who performed religious ceremonies in ancient Sumer. And this, as you know from yesterday, the gods played a role in every little piece of life, in both public and private life for the people in Sumer. So it is a hugely important role that they play. Priests were, as you can tell, they were important because last week we worked on the social hierarchy in Sumer. Priests were second to the top in the social hierarchy of Sumerian civilization. This means that they were just below the rulers, the kings and queens in the royal family. So that is a slightly larger group than obviously the top. That's why the triangle gets wider as it goes down. So there were more priests than there were rulers or royal family, but still not many of them, which preserves the power that they have. If everyone was a priest or a priestess, everyone would have that equal power and they wouldn't be as high on the social pyramid. And the role that priests and the occasional priestess played in ancient Sumer is why they were so important. At the bottom here it says people would rely on the priests. They needed them. They relied on them to help these individual people in Sumer either gain a god's favor, which means get on their good side so that they continued or could have wealth and a healthy life and have good things happen to them. They believed that in order to have a good life and to have a fair amount of wealth and to generally be happy, the gods determined all of that for you. They determined if you woke up and stubbed your toe and had a bad day, or if you woke up and found $50. I mean, the gods and goddesses decided every little thing of your life. And if you wanted to enjoy your life and wake up and live a good life every single day, then you needed to gain a god's favor. And the only way was by doing that through the priests and the priestesses. And this is because only the priests are able to communicate with the gods. And only the priests can interpret the will of the gods, meaning what the god wants, what'll make them upset, what'll make them happy. And only the priests and priestesses can make offerings, whether it's a sacrifice, whether it's certain prayers, whether it's literally offering something that you have, whether it's money or a statue of that god or goddess, or occasionally a sacrifice, whatever it might be that is being offered to make these gods happy. The priest is going to communicate with that god for you and let you know either how you can gain the good favor or interpret the will of the gods and or make a sacrifice or an offering to them. That is the role of them. They lived and worked in large, very large temples in the city-state, and this is an actual temple. It's called a ziggurat, which we will work on next week, the vocab word. But this is an ancient one. It's about 4,000 years old, and this is in the Middle East today, the area on the maps that we examined. This is an actual one. What this would look like, it wouldn't be so crumbled up here and old. I mean, it's about 4,000 years old. It's still in pretty good shape, but you can see that it's falling apart in some places. It's very ancient structure. And this is an illustration of what it would look like. Now, important to point out is that this part that's crumbled on the top of this one right here, this is an altar. And it is the closest point, or well, the highest point usually of a city-state. And it is so high, it's closest to the sky because that's where the gods and goddesses live. And this is their belief. And you have the priests right here. People are starting at the bottom, and you have to make your way up, all the way up. And this is where the sacrifices or the offerings and the ceremonies would be completed. And it's the closest place that they can get to the sky where those gods are, they can access those gods and goddesses. And so we're going to read through this last slide together, because it's a bit of a summary of Sumerian religion, and then I'm going to let you guys work on your assignment for today. So Sumerians followed, as you know from yesterday, a polytheistic system of religious belief. They believed in many gods, each of whom controlled some aspect of generally nature, but also love and war. Remember, they don't understand science, so all the things that happen in nature are very important, very powerful, very necessary for survival, and therefore they don't know why these things, and why the sun comes up, and why the sun goes down, why the floods happened, why anything's going to happen. So generally, they represent and control some aspect of nature. The gods, the Sumerians very much believe that the gods behaved much like humans, and therefore Sumerians offered worship and sacrifices to avoid their wrath, and wrath just means their bad side. Sumerians believed the souls of the dead passed on to a gloomy afterlife. Okay, so you wanted to try to have as positive of a relationship with those gods. And so the last piece of this that's really important is, we're going to talk about this next week, is this is called an Epic of Gilgamesh. Epic is a very long story that explains, in this case for the Sumerians, how the world started, ended, and really it's a story of, so it says here, a mighty king who failed in his quest to find immortality, which means his quest to live forever. And it is the earliest known work of literature in Sumerian culture, and generally considered in human history. It's the very first work of a written down story in human history, and basically to explain how important religion is on Sumerian society. As I said right here, it's the foundation. Religion's the foundation of Sumerian society. This Epic of Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh being a king, he is trying to live forever, and he's going through this process. It's a pretty cool story that we'll work on next week. But the point is this: the Epic of Gilgamesh is the very first work of literature, of a story like you would read in ELA, and it's based in religion. That is how important religion is in Sumerian society. The very first thing that humans wrote down a story about was religion. So now for your directions on Google Classroom, your assignment is to, other than do attendance and listen to this lesson, you're going to go in and you're going to view an article on the role of several of these gods and goddesses and the powers that they had in ancient Sumer and how they were worshipped. At the bottom of that, the last page of that document is going to be 6 questions that you'll answer right on there, and make sure to share or submit it to me when you're done for credit. If you don't do that, it comes up as missing and it's a 0. The important thing here is to read the directions in Google Classroom under your assignment, because I will not spend my time answering more questions about what to do if I'm already explaining for you here what to do. So you're going to go to the assignment. I'm trying to show it to you guys. At the bottom, it's going to show you right here. You're going to answer these 6 questions in complete sentences, and it's really important that you are able to open. The tab at the top says open with, and you're going to use a Google Doc. Everybody has their own copy to work on. This is due either at the end of class, might take a little bit longer than that. It's lengthy, so you have until the end of the day. Whatever time you stop doing work in the afternoon is to be done. Make sure you submit it for credit. Good luck.